Okay, folks, today we're going to play Nasty Jack. Can you get Nasty Jack up into his landing post here? We'll see. That didn't work. Oh, almost got him. Oh, almost again. Almost again, but almost is not good enough. All right, we did it finally. Nasty Jack. Well, Nasty Jack, of course, is just a little game for adults or kids, whichever you want. Why Nasty Jack? Well, think of the word nasty as meaning powerful or strong, and Nasty Jack makes it all the way to the top. Of course, you could also get other spaces in between. We've got Weak Jack down here, not very good. We got Puffy Jack. We got Muscle Jack. He's getting stronger, evidently. But if you land him on his perch up here, he becomes Nasty Jack. Okay? Okay. Well, hello there. Welcome to the shop this morning. I thought today we would make a little game called Nasty Jack, which you just saw a demonstration of. Simple little game, nothing complicated. Good for Halloween. Makes it a little plaything for children or adults or partially children. I've got a pattern here for you to use. And this is the basic structure of the playing field. Got a heading on the top. I changed it from the eyes to Nasty Jack, but you can leave the eyes there if you prefer. And we're going to need a couple of these little pumpkin heads, along with a 1/4-inch dowel and some birch plywood and some pine. And it's fairly easy to make, but I thought I'd take you through my steps anyways and get this thing done, and maybe you can make your own. Okay, the first thing we want to do is make our base and our drop channel. So what we're going to do, the easiest way I found, is to take a 2x4, which is actually a little more than 3 inches wide, and cut it to size, which would be about 8 inches long, but then slice it down the middle, and that'll give us both the base and the backboard with our slot in it we'll be able to make, and it's quite economical. Just an old piece of timber had lying around, and just got to work it out on the table saw, and we'll be able to use that. So let's go do that first. Okay, over at the chop saw here, we're going to measure this off to 8 inches long. And we're going to cut that down to size. Okay, we have our 8-inch block, which now I'll take over to the table saw and slice it down the middle. Okay, we're at the table saw. We're going to find the middle just by eyeballing it here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Go a little off on that. A little more. Okay, we're going to slice this in half now, and we're going to do it by making several passes. It'll be easier to do that way. Okay, we've got both of our pieces cut now. One of them is a little thicker than the other, but that's okay. We can use the thicker one for the base, and we'll use the thinner one for the backing board. And no need to measure exactly on this. We've got the pattern now, which we can fit on here too, after we cut it down to 3 inches wide, which we'll do also on the table saw. Okay, I cut both of those down to 3 inches wide, and each one is about around a ½ inch, a little over ½ inch thick, and they're each 8 inches tall. Okay, both of our pieces have been cut to size, 3 inches wide, 8 inches tall, and generally when we set this up, it's going to be that pattern. And now what we have to do, the bottom is pretty well set already. The backing board, though, is going to need a slot in it, and we want to get it to the right size. So what we'll do is we'll use this pattern that's in the pattern pack to do that. And we'll set that up, and we'll take it over to the scroll saw and work on it. First thing we need to do is put some tape on here, of course. Like that. This will be to make our scroll blade go through nice and easy. Plus it'll give us a place to put the pattern too. Take our scissors and cut out the backing board pattern. Which is 3 inches wide. We don't really need the pattern for the base because I just cut it out on the table saw to size, but I put the pattern there anyways just in case you don't want to deal with measurements or anything. You can put the pattern on there and cut it out on your scroll saw if that's all you happen to have. But we do happen to have equipment, so we'll use it. Alright, we take our pattern and put it down upside down, of course. Like that. And put some sticky on the back. Put sticky on the back all the time. And then we take this and we can put it right on our pattern, our blank here. And now we're all set to cut our groove out, and we can do that on the scroll saw. We don't have to worry too much about being off at all, or putting any entry holes in or anything like that. We'll just cut from the end. You'll find that this side is a little bit wider than this side, mainly because of the label I'm going to put on it later on to dress this up. So let's go over to the scroll saw and cut this out now. Okay, we're at the scroll saw. We're going to put a number 5 blade in the scroll saw. Number 5 reverse tooth makes it easy to cut our groove out. You could cut the groove other ways too, of course, if you have a bench router, for example, or even on your table saw. I imagine you could do it, but I find this to be the easiest thing to do, since we're making this a scroll saw project anyways. We've got our blank ready to go. Let's cut this out. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have our groove nicely cut out. We can take the pattern off now. We don't really need it on there anymore. Peel it off. Peel the label off, actually. Alright, we got our backing board set up. I'll throw these trash away here. Now this is eventually going to be put on the base like this. Okay, so fairly easy to do, and that part is all done for the time being. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to make all the collateral pieces for this game. We're going to need a lever, which is going to be about 1 inch wide and about 6 inches long, I believe it is. You got the patterns here, however, you can just put these down on the wood and cut around them. We're going to need a lever pad, also 1 inch, but only about 3 inches long. We're going to need a fulcrum, which is very important. And all of these, by the way, are going to be cut out of 1/4 inch birch plywood. Now the fulcrum is 2 inches by 1.5 inches as a rectangle, but then I would put the pattern down on it and then cut out the little opening you're going to need for the paddle, the lever to go through. And of course we're going to need a backer, a base backer, which will be placed right behind the backer board to keep the Nasty Jack figure up to a nice level. So we're going to cut all these out of pieces of scrap wood. If you have any scrap wood around, you can use it up. Why not? Fairly simple to do. So let me get these set up. Okay, I've cut out all the little pieces that we're going to need for this project. And this is going to be our fulcrum right here. So what I'm going to do is put some tape on it. I want to get this opening in the center of the block. So I'll put the tape on it like that. And then we'll take the pattern and cut it out. And we can then place it down on the little piece that we've cut out for the fulcrum. Just cut it according to the dimensions on the pattern, and bingo, you'll be able to make this easily. Now we're going to put an entry hole in the corner here, take this to the scroll saw and cut it out, so we'll have our fulcrum set. Okay, I've drilled the entry hole here on the fulcrum opening, so let's take our blade and put it through there. And and just carefully cut it out. Nothing complicated here. I mean, it's fairly easy to do, but just take your time. Alright, we got our opening cut. Doesn't have to be perfect, you know, just so we have our opening in the fulcrum. And we have our fulcrum all set. Now what's going to happen, of course, is that just to dry fit it here, I'll show you how this works. Let me back off the camera. Okay, this is going to be placed up at a upright angle here. The backing piece here will go behind the backing board. That'll allow the ornament to stand up a little bit. Fulcrum is going to be placed roughly about there. The lever is put in like that, and we're going to have a, if I put that closer actually, we have this right on the back. Won't stay right now because it's not set, but that'll bring it down eventually to the point where we need it. Probably could make this lever pad a little shorter. We don't really need it that long. We want to have this so this falls right down there. Okay, so we'll take that and cut it down. I've decided I want to put a little groove in the base to hold up the backing. Now we could glue it right down there, which is what I've done, and it probably would be okay. But to make it a little more secure, I think putting it in a groove with some glue would probably be better off for it. So what we're going to do is put the backing plate here just to get it lined up as to where we're going to want the one part of the groove to be, right there. And the other part is going to be like this. Just run our line along there. We're not even going to need the lines as such except for this one to get started. I'm going to take this over to the table saw and I'm going to cut this groove out and show you how that's done, and we'll put that together. Okay, we're going to cut the groove in the bottom of the top, I should say, of the base. Now what we want to do is we want to start by putting lining up the starting groove over here on this side. And we're going to use a little trick here I saw on the YouTube. Hopefully it'll work. This is the thickness of the blade itself. We're going to put that in there and we're going to fasten it down with a clamp. Okay. And we're going to just pass over this now. I'm not going to put this too deep, maybe about 1/8 of an inch or so. We don't really need it really very deep. And we're going to first of all cut our first pass to line up the side of one side of the groove. There we go. Sets the groove, one side of the groove, and compensates for the blade. Now the actual width of the groove is going to be the thickness of the backing board. So we're going to put that there like that and hold it in place, and I'm going to take that out and slide it over so that it's right on the mark there. Okay, now that'll give us the other side of the groove. So here we go. Okay, so I have cut out the groove completely. Notice I just simply moved the fence over a little bit at a time, from one side of the groove to the other. And this will fit nicely right in there now. It's going to be nice and snug when I tap it down with the hammer. And that'll set us up for a groove on that part. Now I'm not going to put it in yet. I'm going to wait because I want to glue it down eventually. But we've got other things to deal with here also. Okay, next we should probably cut out our little nasty jacks here. We're going to need 2 of these. I'm only going to cut 1 because we're going to stack cut it, and we'll make 2 out of 1. Get this out of the way. Okay, I'll just put that there for now. Okay, we're going to take one of these scrap pieces and check out the sizing on it. I think we can get 2 out of this, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half. And we'll have enough room for 2 of our nasty jacks. I'm going to go cut this down to size. Okay, I've got 2 of these scrap pieces cut to size. What we'll do is take a piece of tape here, and we'll just tape these 2 together like this. And of course we use the old glue stick. Comes in mighty handy. And we can cut out 2 of our pumpkin heads in one shot. I gotta go drill some holes, of course, some entry holes. This hole is for the 1/4-inch dowel that's going to go through, because we want Nasty Jack to be hanging there while he's showing his victory. And I think that's a good spot for it. So we put our 1/4-inch dowel through that. But I got to drill holes for these sections. I'm going to go cut those out. I won't bother to do this on camera. Pretty easy. I mean, just put your entry hole there and then fire up a scroll saw and cut them out. So I'll go do that and I'll come back when I got that done. 2 Nasty Jack heads cut out, pumpkin heads, so to speak. And I cut down a little 1/4-inch dowel, just a little bit, a little more than we need, of course. We got to figure out, we want to have a little bit of play in this thing. So the way I figure it out usually is just put that on the bottom, and this one on the top, and then this one here, right there, and then drop our dowel in there. And this will give us a pretty good idea of where we want to cut this dowel off. We want a little bit of play in it, so we'll cut it right about there. I'm going to cut that on the scroll saw. Okay, I cut it to size on the scroll saw. Now, what I want to do is take a little bit of glue and put it on the end of our dowel here, on one end anyways. start out. Make sure I got that camera lined up. And we'll take this and just put it in like that on either side of the head. It doesn't really matter which side, depending upon which way you'd like the stem to be going. And then we'll just tap this 1/4 inch dowel piece in there. Okay. Go down a little further. Yep. Okay. So we've got one part of our nasty jack set up. Now the other part is going to be on the other end, of course. So what we're going to do is just test this out. We'll slide this down inside there. And we should have enough to have some play in there too when we tighten that down. So what we're going to do, put a little more glue on this side. Just need a little bit, you don't need quite a bit on here. And then attach our other part. I'm going to give it a good tapping so that it comes out flush on the other side. Okay. Now if it turns out it's a little tight before it dries, just take it and twist it a little bit and pull them apart a little bit, and you'll be okay. You just want to make sure that drops right down there, as it does here. Alright, so I think we're all set on that part of the project. Alright, our next part is going to be to glue up our backing on our base. Simple process. A little bit of glue on the bottom here. Put some on the sides also. This is just so it'll hold down. I mean, this is going to require a good bit of stamping and tapping. We don't want it to come loose, so we've got our groove in here. You just put that right on top of the groove. Tap it down with a trusty hammer, and we'll just let that dry. And eventually, of course, we're going to put this together. That flows down very nicely. Okay, so we're going to let that dry now for a while. Okay, let's start to assemble our launching pad here. What we want to do is put the pad down on the lever. I put a little bit of glue on there. And then we got our 2" by 2" pad, which we're going to put on there. Okay, just line it up with the end and eyeball it. You don't have to have anything perfect on that. And we're going to let that dry. And then we've got to line up our other side of the lever. And what we're going to use is a toothpick. And we're going to put the toothpick right against, let me turn this around a bit so you can see it. A little bit of play in that too. Put our toothpick here. And this is to keep the lever from the back part. The pad keeps it from going too far in, and the toothpick keeps it from going too far out. That way we don't really have to have any hinges or anything like that in order to get this thing to work. So we're going to put that on there for now, and we'll take our toothpick and we'll leave it the full size for the time being. Make sure you can see this, what's going on here. Okay, we take that. And we don't want to glue it to the actual fulcrum. We want to just glue it to the lever. Okay. So it looks something like that. Let me see if I can get my camera in closer here. You can see what this looks like. Okay. Now after that dries, what we'll do is we'll take the toothpick and cut the ends off flush with the edges of the fulcrum, and that way we'll be able to have it in there without it jutting too far over the edge. I'm going to just put this on here if I can. Alright, we'll leave the toothpick there to dry, and we'll also let the pad dry as well. Get another little clamp and put that on there in addition. Okay, we'll let those dry for a while, and eventually we'll be able to come back and line up our lever. Now the lever's got to be lined up properly because we don't want the pumpkin to override it when we're working. We don't want the nasty jack to become too nasty. So I'm going to leave that to dry and probably come back later and see if we can get this thing together. Actually, before I leave, what I could do is probably put the backing tray on here too. What we're going to do with this is put a little bit of glue on the back, like that. Turn the backer around like this. Okay, and this is going to sit right behind the backer. And the reason we got that there is to keep the pumpkin up so that when it comes down, Nasty Jack will be nice and level with the front, and the lip of the lever will be underneath it. We're going to let that dry also, along with the lever. We'll come back after that's all done and we'll install the lever. Okay, we've got our parts all glued up here and dried nicely for our lever and our fulcrum, and our little traps here so that the lever doesn't slide out of the fulcrum. What I'm going to do is take a pair of snippers here, and at the end of each section here, at the end of each section of the toothpick, I'm going to snap it off, because we don't need that much jutting out. I'll do that here too. Okay, so both sides have now been reduced so that they're out of the way. You don't get stuck with them toothpick. Now, the next thing to do is decide where we're going to place our fulcrum on the base. Now, this is somewhat crucial because you don't want the thing getting stuck because it's hitting against the backboard, and you don't want it too far back so that it doesn't get underneath Jack. If you put it there, obviously you're not even going to get him up. If you bring it too close and glue it down, it's going to keep hitting that wall, and it's going to mess things up. So you want to get it away, maybe about probably around a 1/16 of an inch away from the backing wall. Now, the best way to do that is to just actually try it. I'm going to just hold it with my hand here. It does go loosely, and it doesn't get too far away, so that's just about the right spot, I would say. So what we want to do is take a pencil and just draw our line there as to where we want to glue this thing. Now you're going to have to really glue it down tight too, because it's going to take a little bit of beating with the one that's wrapped on all the time. Okay, just move that aside. and take some glue. Again, we'll use the old wood glue. And we'll put a little line of it along the bottom here. And a little bit on the bottom of the fulcrum also. And then we'll just place it down here like this. Making sure that it has a little bit of play there, but not too much. Okay, that looks about good. We'll just let that sit there for a moment. We'll take a clamp and be sure that this clamps down nicely. Holds it nice and even. Looks about good. Fasten it down real tight. Probably put another clamp on the other side. Okay, we're clamped down pretty good. A paper towel and wipe up some of this glue that's taking off on us here. Squeeze out. There. Okay, so this is nice and loose in here, and it should work pretty well once we got jack on top of there. Okay. Alright, we'll just let that dry now and get to work on another part. Alright, the next part we have to cut out is our topper. On the it goes up on the top of the backboard. Show you the old one here. What it looks like. And I redesigned it a bit. I put the name Nasty Jack in there instead of leaving it blank. But you know, you can do anything you want with that. This functions to, first of all, keeps Nasty Jack from flying off into the universe, and also it gives it an angle stop here, so that it might cause it to go down to the left or to the right, which is what we're looking for, to land Nasty Jack on the top of these edges. It's a little bit of a decoration and ornamentation also. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out of roughly 3/4 inch pine. I have a piece of scrap here I'm going to use, but you can sand it down so that it's flush with the backboard when you finally get it done there. Okay, so let's get this set up to go here. We need to, first of all, it's not the best piece of scrap I've got, but I think it'll be okay. Try it anyways. Put our tape on here as usual. Got a knot in the middle here, but I think it's going to be, most of it's going to be cut out anyways when we put our pattern down. Okay, I'm going to drill some entry holes and cut out these letters on the scroll saw. I'll see you guys over at the scroll saw. Entry holes cut out, and ready to cut around the circumference here as well. Got a number 5 reverse tooth blade, my blade of choice, and we can do a slow cut on these letters, cut them out. This wood has a nice smell piece, but there's almost like an apple type smell to it. Okay, we finished our Nasty Jack topper here, and that's going to go right up on top here. We'll leave a little bit of space on either side. It doesn't go exactly in the center. Remember, this is a little wider because we've got the banner we want to put on there. So what we want to do is put some glue on here. I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom here. Okay. That'll be nice. And then we'll just fit this on the top. Now, I got this still drying here, so I'm going to wanted to save some time here, so I'll put it up on top. And we could just leave it like that, but I think it would be better if we clamp it. Put a clamp on the other side. Clamp the other side as well. They will be sure we're getting good contact here. It's important that this be glued down pretty solid, because when Jack flies up there, he's going to whack the top of that, and if it's not glued down very well, the top is going to go flying right off. But I think we've got it pretty well set now. So we're going to let this all dry up again continually, and we'll come back when it's all finished, and maybe we can give it a test. Okay, the last stage of development of our project here is to put a couple labels on it. I made these up to fit on the various sides of the backboard on our Nasty Jack game, and you can make your own labels up, of course, if you want. I made these up, and I put them. I'm going to have these in the pattern pack too, if you end up ordering that. And you could just cut these out and take some adhesive spray. As you know, I don't generally use adhesive spray. I use a glue stick, but I'm not sure if the glue stick will be that permanent. So I'm going to make an exception here and use the adhesive spray. So we turn this over on the back side and just gently give this backs a coating. Okay, and give it a few moments to just set, and then we'll take it over and we'll apply it to the backboard of the game. Okay, everything seems to have dried nicely here. Slid Mr. Pumpkinhead up there. Turn this on its side, And now we're going to take those two labels I made. First of all, this one is going to be on the left side. Just put them down here after you put the adhesive on. We should put these up higher. Okay, I'll put it right up near the top like that. Line it up and press it down. Works nice and easy. And our general picture here is going to be Nasty Jack. So just put him down here like this. And smooth it out nice and even. Now you can paint the wood on this, of course, to a color of your liking, or stain it, or do whatever you want. I'm going to leave it just plain, and we'll see how it works that way. I think it'll be just fine. Okay, we'll back this off a little bit. And we'll try our Nasty Jack game. Alright, didn't make it that time. Alright, we got a Nasty Jack up there with no problem. Sometimes it connects, sometimes it doesn't. That's the fun of it. You'll find other little quirky things to do with it, I'm sure. Well, that brings us to the end of our little project here. If you would like to make one, you can download the plan for this. I've got it up on my Etsy store. Just click the link down below and you'll get the pattern with all the parts as we use them here. And you can put one of these together for yourself. I'll also put a few other patterns, free patterns, in with the pack, so you might enjoy doing those as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, please click the like button down below, and maybe you'll want to subscribe and come and see what else I got in the future. Nasty Jack. Oh, he even caught up right away. Wow. Sometimes you're pretty lucky on this, sometimes you're not. Guess I wasn't there. Thanks for watching.